Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tell Your Story. I'm your host, Todd Nesloni, the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership for TEPSA. And each episode, I look to bring you somebody who has encouraged, inspired, or challenged me in one way or another and bring them on to share their story in hopes that it inspires you to share some of yours. I am so excited to get to talk to my friend Erin Kassly today. Erin, tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Hey guys, and thanks Todd for having me on. I'm excited to be here too. So I teach first grade in a small town near where I live, and I live in Illinois, but it's actually right across the river from St. Louis, Missouri. So I just teach in a small rural town, and I teach first grade, and so this is actually my 8th year of teaching first grade there.
Wow. So, growing up, Erin, did you always want to be a teacher? Did you know that it was in your path?
Yeah, it was. I think so. I don't have like a moment in time. Like a lot of people have that like moment where they're like, oh, when I was in like 2nd grade, I wanted to be a teacher because blah, blah, blah. So it like kind of came to me, like down the road as I was growing up. But when I was in kindergarten, my teacher that probably put the biggest effect on me was my kindergarten teacher named Mrs. Fershey. And as a kid, I had like such anxiety. Like I still have anxiety to this day, but I had anxiety as a kid too, which like looking back now, I know what it was. But I feel like I was super needy as a kid. Like I was always like the crier and the worrier. And so I was so scared to walk to the bus stop. Like, oh my gosh, I was just like, it was a panic. And he like took my hand. She didn't do this with any other kid, but I'll like never forget. She walked me to the bus stop, like, and it wasn't just like right out the door. Like she had to actually walk. It was like around a little block area. I went to like the small like private school, and so she would walk me to the bus stop for like a month. Like it wasn't just like a one-time thing. And so like looking back, I was like, I want to be like Mrs. Fershey. So now when there's like a crier in my class or like somebody with anxiety, I always feel like I can relate to them more.
So you were one of those kids, Erin. As a principal, I know those kids who the whole first month of school is one of those moments for them. But I love that you have that really positive memory of a teacher so young, because I think that does play into the person you become. And so so you want to be a teacher, you become a teacher, and now obviously you love it because you're still in it. What do you enjoy most about being a teacher?
So I love just seeing the kids get excited about learning. I taught kindergarten 1 year, and like I said, I've been in first for 8 years. I like that in the younger grades, I feel like you can see, not that in the older grades you can't, but just in the younger grades, they're learning so many new things so fast that I feel like you can see the light bulb come on more often. And I love that I can get to see that so often with those kids. I also really like to teach reading. So I feel like first grade is like.
Oh, we lost her. So hopefully she'll be joining back in here in just a second. But while she is joining back in, we'll see if she joins back in. So I got to meet Erin while I'm filling some time in here. I'll share that through Get Your Teach On. And Erin just does fantastic design work, which I'm going to get in here and chat with her about. But not only that, when I was thinking of, and who I was going to invite for this week's episode, I kept thinking, like, who do I really want to invite on that I want to hear their story? I want to learn more about them. I want to introduce them to you guys. And Erin was one of the first names that came up, just because Erin is super creative. But more than that, she's one of those really sweet, kind people who really has the best interest of others always at heart. So I knew that it was going to be a perfect fit. And so I wonder if Erin is actually, there we go. I think she's back. Let's see. And
Todd,
she's back.
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, my computer just like, this is what it looks like.
Oh, one of those, the black screen of death.
Yes. Like it's never done this. And I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden it just goes black and I'm like, Todd, Todd. So
Well,
I'm on my phone now. I'm so sorry.
no, you're fine. I was filling in time. I was like, let me tell everybody how I met Erin, why I invited her on. I'm like, hopefully she's trying to rejoin the call. So,
Oh my gosh. I can't
but
believe that. It's totally black. This is not good.
hey, well, this is going to be the most unique episode so far of Tell Your Story. There we go.
You had a computer crash and everything now.
Hey, but you're here. So, Erin, I want to, you talk about this, the teaching and seeing the light bulbs. And what I've always been impressed about you is just your creativity. Like, you're such an artistic person, which is why I love that you're in elementary, because you're doing all that stuff with the kids. But that's also led into you doing some other endeavors on top of teaching. How did it lead to you kind of starting the Erin's Inc. thing?
So, yeah, so like you said, I've loved to, like create and draw and make things. So one of my very best friends of all time is Katie Mency from Little Warriors, and I met her through teaching. So I actually one year, the year I taught kindergarten, I was late. It was like an add-on year, so there was 3 kindergartens the year I taught, but it was like a one-time thing, and then the next year the enrollment was like back down, and when I say down, they still had high classes, but they still like cut my position. So I was an aide actually in Katie's room, and Katie, everybody who knows Katie, she's super creative too, but she always has these crazy fun ideas, and she would want me to help her like draw an anchor chart, or draw something for her, like if she was doing something with like toads and frogs, she would need like a big toad and a big frog drawn. So I would draw this stuff as like her aide, and she'd be like, you're really good at drawing. And I never thought that of myself. Like I've always liked to doodle, but I'm like, I'm like, I can just doodle, whatever. But anyway, so it was really kind of Katie, like, saying like, wow, I feel like you're really good at drawing. And so it just took like somebody, like saying that about me. And then from there, I actually started making clip art for Teachers Pay Teachers. And that's where the Erin's Ink came. So, not like ink like a tattoo, but like an ink pen.
Hey, you never know. Somebody may take one of your designs and get a tattoo made of it. There we go. Well, Erin, I did not know that you were an aide in Katie's classroom. That's so cool.
That's how I met her.
Wow. Well, and now you've got this really successful earring business as well, where the stuff you make, I know teachers go wild over. So how did that designing lead into you going, you know what? I think I'm going to make some earrings now too.
So I feel like all the things I do are just like it's weird to say, but like I never have just this grand scheme. Like I swear one night I made some pencil, like I had my Cricut and I had like just gotten it, and I made these like pencil earrings for myself. And I had it, oh my gosh, it took so long because I had to cut all these layers and I put them all together, and that was like back when I was doing every little piece by hand. And I came downstairs at like 2 a.m. and I showed my husband. I'm like, he was asleep on the couch. I'm like, look what I made. And he looks at him and he couldn't even tell what they were. He's like, cool. Like, why are you waking me up? But I remember texting Katie, like my picture of my earrings. And I was like, look what I made. I'm so excited to wear these to school tomorrow. And then she was like, oh, I feel like other people would like those too. So then I asked, more people, that teachers and stuff as my friends, if they wanted them. And then I started making them for like a business. So it was totally just kind of like a random thing.
Well, I think that's when the best things are born, though, is when it's like, I just love this, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to enjoy it because I already loved it to begin with, but now I can help other people and provide some stuff for them too. So you've got little ones at home. How do you balance everything?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like I don't. People ask me that all the time, and I always feel like something is lacking. Like I'm still getting to that point where I'm like, how do people fit it all in? Because it feels like if I'm like really killing it in my classroom, then then my house is like sticky and like tornado, like from 2-year-olds, or I feel like almost like a little bit guilty, like maybe I haven't been spending the time with them. But then when I put more time into that, then I feel like it's like these plates and one's always like about to tip. But I mean, I have a lot of help too, like my mom. She helps a lot. She actually is my designated earring shipper. So Yeah, it's really helpful. I just made like some stickers for, you know, people in the medical field and
Mhm.
nurses and that kind of stuff, that say superheroes wear scrubs, kind of like
Uh-huh.
with this time we're in now. I mean, I just feel like they're right out there on the front lines.
Yes.
So we actually had a few orders today that included some stickers, and she the only so she when like her and I, we're both in quarantine, like we're both, you know, staying home,
Uh-huh.
but so she just comes here, like she comes here. And so like when I have to do my online teaching for my class, she comes here and watches my kids, and then she'll send out the earrings too. So I
Mhm.
do have some support. I definitely have her kind of helping behind the scenes. And yeah, because I don't know how people are teaching right now with kids at
Yeah.
home. Like when I have to go on like a Zoom chat, and today I had like videos with my superintendent and administrator and stuff. Oh my gosh. Like they would have
Well,
probably been like, you need to go. Like,
well, and don't you sometimes utilize your closet for chats
oh
too?
yes, I know. I totally almost did that for this one, but I'm like, maybe that wouldn't be so appropriate. But yes, I have a nice little hideout in my closet. That is my place.
Mhm. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I love just. I mean, what I think was great that you shared is that I think there isn't a such thing as perfect balance. You just
Yeah.
do the best you can. When you're killing it in the classroom and you realize one or two things are lacking, you shift and you kind of edit and make those work. And I'm so glad you have that support system as well, because I think that's hugely important. But Erin, you've got this classroom, you're active on social media, you're creating these products for teachers that are just a hit and doing so well. What do you do though when doubt begins to creep in and when you begin to compare yourself to others or think the products you're making aren't worth putting out there? Like, how do you not let that consume you?
Um, so like I said, I am like I've always had anxiety,
Mhm.
so that's really hard for me, because it does. I mean, that's always there, like whether or not other people can see it. What I do whenever I'm someone that has to like let it out. So some
Mhm.
people keep their worries to themselves, and they'll kind of just think it over and replay it in their head. But I'm like word vomit, like, oh my gosh, I need to tell someone about this right now. So I'll like talk to like a close friend like Katie,
Mhm.
or another person I talk to all the time about like doubts is Jose,
Right.
um, from Ferto and Co.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I call him like my life coach, because when I'm having doubts, like, I'll say like, well, what if this one didn't sell as good, or maybe, or if somebody like uses an idea of mine and then they try to I'm talking like obviously other people
Mhm.
make earrings, but I'm talking like an exact design
Yes.
another person might try to sell it, and I'll call Jose like all freaking out, and he is so good about like calming me down and just saying, you just keep doing you, and
Mhm.
obviously, it's successful. And I feel like if you just stay, true to like what you've been doing and just continue to be who you've been through the whole thing, then
Mhm.
you still have your customers and your friends that are there for you. So I definitely talk to people though.
Well, but I think that that's great advice though, is to try to have those people in your life that you can get it out, because I think like if you try to hold it in, it consumes your thoughts and then you start to believe
Yes.
things that aren't true.
Yes.
And and
Yes.
Erin, you brought up something really important too that I think is great to talk about right now, and that is a lot of the stuff that you create is out of your own brain. It's you've imagined it, you've dreamt it up, and you put it out there and made it, and you're putting it out there for others to purchase it and kind of use it and things too. And so, but sometimes people will sneak up and try to take something and claim it's theirs and then give it away or
Exactly.
sell it under their own name. How do you
Yes.
how do you balance that? Because I think there's so many entrepreneurs out there who are trying to put positive stuff out there, and then they go on certain websites, they go on a shop platform or anything like that, and they're like, that's mine, like I made that from scratch.
Right. Yes. I've actually, with kind of having some of that happen to me, I've reached out to other, small business, just, entrepreneur type people that have made different things too,
Mhm.
whether it's a shirt or just anything. And they, it's good and bad to know that it's happened to like the best of the best and just everybody. So I'm sad that it happens to everybody, but it's good to know you're not alone. Cause I will say, like, when you see something exactly that I've hand drawn some of those designs, like, but by hand. So when you see it exactly out there on someone else's page, it's a nice kick in the stomach. Like, oh my gosh, wait, that's mine. Like, you feel like you've been robbed, kind of. But then another thing that Jose always says, he's like, but that's like the highest compliment, that's like the highest honor. Of course he tries to make it positive. I'm like, but I don't want that compliment, Jose.
No, but I totally understand that, because I've got this Kids Deserve It logo back behind me, and I designed that. I created it, built it all up, trademarked it, and we sell t-shirts. And to this day, my wife knows. She goes on Google once a month and she just searches Kids Deserve It t-shirts. And every month there's some random online company which makes hundreds of other shirts, and they've got my design on there. And they've been really good. I mean, I'll call them up or I'll email them, because most of them don't have phone numbers, surprisingly enough. But I'll email them and be like, hey, this logo's trademarked. Like, you can't be selling what I created. And they'll take it down. Like, they don't ever respond, but they always take it off the site. But it's like crazy that you got to watch that kind of stuff, because it's your intellectual property. And other educators I've seen before, like, well, y'all just make too big of a deal out of it. Like, you should give things away for free. And I'm like, well, we give away, you and I both give away a lot for free. But this is our additional income as well. I mean, so you can't give everything for free. Especially when others are selling it.
Yes, that's true. And you do have to put in, there is some cost with the materials. And so, I mean, I love doing giveaways. Sometimes I feel like I give away too much. Like I said, my mom's kind of behind the scenes, and she'll be like, Erin, how many earrings do I need to mark down now? And I'm like, Mom, because she's more of the conservative one, and I'm like, but it's just fun to like see people excited. And so like you said, I mean, I do like to give things too, but it's definitely a side income to teaching. And with having twins now, I mean, we have a lot more expenses, so it's just nice to have that little extra income and know that I can provide for them and make their life better. So
well, Erin, you've mentioned your twins now. And so my question is, you've been a mom for a few years now. What is something you've learned about yourself through the process of being a mom?
Oh my gosh. Well, I am like, I'm very OCD, like I like things clean and in order, and just everything how it should be. But my classroom still is, because I'm still in control of that. But I've learned that, like, in my house, I'm not in control. So I've had to let that go. So at least I know I can let it go, because there's just no way. I've tried to keep up with the cleaning and the mess, but it's just, there's no way. They're with two of them, and they're both two. And so I feel like, I thought I was patient, but I feel like I learned that I wasn't as patient as I thought, because I find myself like, oh my gosh, what is going on? More, especially now being home with them. So I love being with them, but oh man, stay-at-home moms, they deserve everything. Like, this is the hardest job.
It's funny. It's like everybody thinks they understand what a teacher does, what a stay-at-home parent does, what all these people do. And then you're in that role and you're like, no, had no idea. Like that person does a lot more than I thought they did.
Exactly. Oh, big time. Yeah. I always was like, I just want to stay home with my kids. And now I'm like, Mom, I was wrong.
I love it. Well, Erin, you've got two, and even though they're only 2 years old yet, can you see some of your personality in them yet?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. And like, when, before all this, like, my dad would come over a lot too. And he, like, my daughter would do, so I have boy-girl twins, for those that don't know. And my daughter will do something, kind of, she's just like a little bit stubborn and will do her own thing. And I'll be like, she just won't listen. Like, I tell her to do this and she just won't do it. And my dad's like, wonder who that is. I'm like, well, I wasn't like that. And he's like, yeah. Like, so they just think it's like this hilarious, like, revenge, like, to come back to get me. And then it's funny because my son is a lot like Pete, I feel like. And, you know, kind of just more like laid back. Like, he just kind of lets things go. So it's weird because I know sometimes the boy is more like the mom or this, you know, but in our case, I think it's like the girl, like Perry's gonna be like me and Ben's like Pete.
I love that. Well, Erin, you know, when you look at your life and all the things you've been through, all the positives, all the trials and tribulations, all the successes, everything, and when you're reflecting, what is one instance when you look back on your life that you think that was really instrumental in creating the woman you see today?
Oh man,
I'm sure there's probably
you're
lots
going
of
deep,
examples,
Todd.
but
So I guess, okay, so when, and I've said this before too, so Katie kind of knows, but I'm gonna pull Katie back in here. When I first started teaching as a first year teacher, I taught 5th grade. And I liked it. I knew I mean, I enjoyed teaching and I loved the kids. But it was just kind of a hard year. I mean, it was, you know, your first year is just, whoa, you know, you're not, it's nothing you thought. And I was really young and I have a hard time anyways being like the enforcer. So I felt like, you know, a lot of the time there was, you know, classroom management stuff going on, and just I didn't learn about that in college, you know.
right.
So then when I got let go, so my first 2 jobs I got let go from, I promise it wasn't fired. It's just like they were cutbacks.
Yeah.
So I got let go from that school, and I was actually hired on as just like at a business, like because there were no teaching openings then. And I was just going to work at this business, and I had been working there for about a month. And then at the school where Katie was, they like the 2 days before school started, they were like, we have a kindergarten opening if you want it. And I was like, oh my God, in 2 days. And like the classroom was bare bone. There wasn't a thing in it except for some desks. Yes. So, anyway, I kind of had even gotten to the point of like, well, maybe teaching isn't for me, like, you know, after that year. And then I had gotten let go, and I was like, you know, I was stressed a lot. It wasn't what I was thinking. The kids weren't always, you know, interacting how I was hoping. But then when I got hired as a kindergarten teacher, and Katie was there, I tell her this all the time. I swear she like saved me as a teacher, because I saw, you know, like how fun teaching could be and how much fun the kids could have while also learning. And she just taught me like so much with teaching, and just, I don't know, that changed my teaching career. Definitely was meeting Katie. I swear. Like,
I love that.
So hopefully I mean, I've told her this before, but hopefully she watches and gets a smile on her face, because I swear that's the total truth.
I love that. Well, Erin, you know, one question I always love to end all my Tell Your Stories on is, you know, there are lots of people who view these episodes or listen to them, whether it's parents, teachers, people who aren't in education at all. So is there something that you can think like, this is really heavy on my heart? What is your one thing that you wish more people knew or understood? It doesn't have to be about education, but what is something that you just wish more people knew or understood?
I guess just like, well, kind of with the current events, because that's kind of been on my mind more lately. So just to bring that, you know, just with having to stay home and not be with the kids and that kind of thing. You know, I see all these posts about teachers, and they're saying, you know, we want to be with the kids. This, you know, this isn't fun for us. And I couldn't agree more. You know, like I'm all for snow day. Like I'm a snow day junkie. So when we get like 1 or 2 snow days, I'm like, it's a snow day. But, and so like when this first came about, when, you know, the stay at home order and that kind of thing happened, I was, you know, it was kind of that snow day feel for a day or two. And you're kind of like, oh, this is a nice little break. But then, you know, as the days go on, you really realize, I mean, like I said, I'm no stay at home mom. I think a lot of teachers out there are just really, you know, kind of down, like they wish they could be with their kids. And I know they're doing all they can for them, but it's not the same. So, you know, just to all the teachers, you know, out there, and parents, and even kids, I mean, I think we're all kind of in the same boat, where, you know, we all want to get back, and we want to be together and do what we, you know, feels feel comes naturally to us, and it's kind of hard, to be in this situation. So just to let people know, they're not alone in feeling that, because I definitely am with them on that too.
I love that. Well, Erin, I was so excited when you agreed to come on this, and when you stepped off, what I said while you were reconnecting was just that, you to me are one of the most genuinely kind-hearted people that I've met, and that's what I've just always been blown away by. It doesn't matter when you run into Erin Kassly, she is smiling, she is friendly, and I really appreciate that about you, and so I was so thrilled when you agreed to come on and share some of your story with us today.
Oh, well, that makes me feel so good. Thank you so much, Chad. And same to you.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Well, thank you everybody for listening or watching another episode of Tell Your Story, the most unique episode so far. We're jumping in and out. But I hope if you need to check out past episodes, you can check them out on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you get them, they're there. I hope today's conversation with Erin has encouraged you to get out there and tell your story, because every story matters.